Yeah. Hey, do yo. Trophied up. Yeah. Hey, do yo. Trophied up. Do yo dance when the G's up. G. Spaced out. Got me geeked up. 10 toes on the west. Can I beat us? You cannot. Shining every time they meet us. Rack 'em up. Since 96. Yeah. Been number one in LA. Something slight. That's the gist.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Talkin Galaxy episode. Today, I will be joined by Galaxy Runs LA very shortly. But right now, you're going to have to deal with me. And we're going to be previewing the Colorado game today. We're going to be previewing the San Jose game today, as well as some injury updates for the LA Galaxy here. You got some Riqui Puig. Riqui, finally got the update. People have been asking for very, very long when we're going to get the Riqui update. And we got some sort of an update. I posted this on my Instagram, the Riqui update, and a lot of people were like, that is not an update. And it's like, it's the best we've gotten so far. It's something concerning Riqui Puig, and something is better than nothing, which is what we've gotten so far. This is about timeline. We've expected him to come back. But first of all, before we go into anything here, we're going to talk about the LA Galaxy youth team. The LA Galaxy U19 team were crowned MLS Next Cup champions after a 3-1 win over Cedar Stars Academy. This is a second consecutive title. Please correct me if I'm wrong. For the LA Galaxy U19 team, we have a youth squad. The LA Galaxy's future looks very bright right now. In this team, you had Dylan Vanney leading the way. It's not the Eric Zavaleta situation with Dylan Vanney where he's just here because of nepotism. Dylan Vanney's a baller. He's actually performed very well for Ventura County SC, and he helped carry this U19 team to a tournament title. But there was also a lot of other people like Harbor Miller in this team. Harbor Miller obviously played for the LA Galaxy main team at times this season. Very early on when we had some injuries to Cuevas and Yamane, we needed Harbor Miller to step up and fill. And I thought Harbor Miller was good. So seeing him go to the U19 team and help them lift the title. A center back name to look out for would be Pepe Mañana. I probably butchered the name completely there, but he's a baller as well. I think they view him as the long-term Jalen Neal replacement, someone who's going to come up through the academy and make a difference on that back line. Regardless of how you feel about Jalen Neal, to do that as an academy kid is ridiculous. And now I think he's doing pretty well at Montreal. So let's see. Yeah, okay. I mean, I wasn't aware of any supporters groups boycott for July 4th, but don't be surprised when and if there is. According to Roll in the chat, there will be most definitely something planned, like a boycott walkout along that line. Yeah, Mason Vanney too. Mason Vanney, Dylan Vanney, the whole Vanney bloodline right now actually has some football abilities in them. So I'm very excited to see this. Admittedly, I haven't watched much of this U19 tournament. I know there is certainly places you can find it, but the Galaxy's academy, and something Will Kuntz talked about very early on in this time for the LA Galaxy, is the fact that he wanted our academy to be a force to be reckoned with again. If you remember, before Will Kuntz era, the Galaxy's academy wasn't that good. And in fact, a lot of players, and this still happens to this day, but a lot of our academy guys ended up going over to LAFC. And then there was a lot of controversy with the Galaxy folding the women's academy. Certainly not a good look. And then Angel City FC comes around, and that seems, a bit more like an LAFC disciple team, especially with the ownership group and playing at BMO. So Dylan Vanney does play for Ventura County too, and he's been very good for them as well. I believe Ruben Ramos Jr. was in this squad. Don't quote me on that. But there's some really good young ballers for the LA Galaxy. And I'm super excited to see how this plays out. And it's really refreshing to see that the Galaxy are, once again, this is the future right here. Gabby Arnold is another name to look out for. He will be with the main team in a few years. Maybe needs to improve a bit on the physical side of the ball. We are Dodgers fans here. Maybe he needs to improve on the physical side of the ball, but still, he's very young. I think the same critiques could be said about Harbor Miller in some aspects of his game. These players still need to be molded, but this is this is huge. This is huge for the LA Galaxy to get their name back in the mix amongst elite MLS academies. If we're talking about elite MLS academies, I'll tell you that San Diego have a very good academy with the Right to Dream Academy that spans across continents. So they're absorbing talent from all over right now. And the Right to Dream Academy is also one of the best in the world, just as an academy in general. And the Galaxy are making a name for themselves. They're making waves. And it's very refreshing. I know the U16 team, I believe, also won MLS Next Pro. Or not pro, MLS Next U16 league. So there, I think that was last year. There's a lot of good prospects coming in the LA Galaxy that you're going to see make their breakthrough, and I'm very excited to see how this pans out for the club. And Will Kuntz definitely delivered on this promise. I'm excited to see some of these guys, and yeah, Harbor Miller, I believe, is the most polished player I've seen recently come through the academy. He had some missteps. He wasn't perfect, but maybe we didn't get a 90-minute performance from Harbor Miller. He certainly showed flashes. I liked what he did going forward for the LA Galaxy. I think he brought a lot, and then it could be argued that Harbor Miller has been better in spurts than Miki Amane this year. I've been very critical on Miki Amane. Yeah, I mean, the Araujo to Harbor Miller comparison is just going to be the fact that they went through the Galaxy. They went through the ranks at the Galaxy, although, Julian Araujo came from FC Barcelona Academy and then made his way back to Barcelona after a while. But this is good. This is good. And I think something that needs to be talked about when it comes to these young players, as we saw, Mathis Albert ended up leaving the Galaxy on a free. That's not good business. If these young players come through the ranks for the LA Galaxy and they start making a name for themselves, you're going to need to get some profit or sell-on clause, or both, preferably both. But you want some sell-on clause from these guys. I could tell you, Mathis Albert is playing for the Dortmund second team. He's playing for the Dortmund second team, but he came up to the main team. He came up to the Dortmund main team for the Club World Cup. And he didn't get any minutes as an LA Galaxy senior team player. I think that Mathis Albert is a lot like Kevin Sullivan. And in fact, Kevin Sullivan's still sitting the bench in MLS. And over here, Mathis Albert's in Dortmund. I guess this is a little off topic, but while we're on the notes, a solo podcast, give me some grace here tonight. I think that Kevin Sullivan going to Man City is not a good move for his career. I think Mathis Albert going from the LA Galaxy to Dortmund is a much better move. Dortmund's academy is incredible. Look at the gems they produce. Look at everything the Dortmund academies produced. Manchester City, realistically, what are you going to do? You're going to go out on loan because you're never breaking into that main team. I mean, you could be as good as you want. They called him the best 14-year-old in the world. If you're not getting minutes, it's going to stunt your development. I'm not saying Man City don't have a good academy, but I'm saying that Borussia Dortmund show the willingness to play young players. So I like that move from Mathis Albert, but I wish the Galaxy would have got something for it. And that's not entirely their fault. Their father got a German passport and he ended up going over there so they could just move. It was a free transfer period window, so it's not like Dortmund had to pay anything for him. But look, if Mathis Albert ends up going, let's say he does well for Dortmund. Let's say he breaks into the main team in a few years and he starts consistently getting minutes like Gio Reyna minutes. Okay. That's if you get like a 15% sell-on clause from a player like that and he ends up going for like 15 million somewhere else in Europe, that's money. That's money left on the table for the LA Galaxy. Truth is that not all of these players are going to be able to make it up from, the academy into professional soccer. Not all of them want to. Some of them, even I've seen it on my Instagram, some of these guys end up committing to academy. They end up committing from the academy to college because they're thinking about their long-term career. And the fact is, soccer is a very difficult sport to break in professionally. But if they do break in and they do end up making a name for themselves, the Galaxy do need to start getting some money for these guys. I liked what we got for Julian Araujo. You just need sell-on clause, but Yeah, Kobe Hernandez Foster was another name that a lot of Bradford Jameson, these guys from the LA Galaxy that don't end up panning out that have a lot of potential. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce Galaxy Runs LA to the stage. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. I just got off practice, so I rushed over and ready now.
There we go. He made it. That's passion, everyone. That is passion.
Dedication.
Um, so yeah, we were just going over the Galaxy U19 team winning MLS Next Cup after a 3-1 win over Cedars Stars Academy. I'm not sure what Cedars Stars are. Galaxy Runs LA. What are your thoughts on this?
I wasn't able to watch the game, but I mean, this group is very talented. Obviously, you got the likes of Dylan Vanny, Mason Vance on the team, his brother. You got a bunch of VCFC, Pepe Magana. You got just a bunch of people rising to the academy into VCFC, and then hopefully they get to the first team. Obviously, like so Harbor Miller and Ruben Ramos Jr. are not on this team because they're too good for this level. So that just speaks to our academy and congratulations for the three-peat to the guys.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that in this run, the Galaxy trounced LAFC's U19 team. I believe it was 5-1. Absolute demolition and a little El Trafico with a lot of significance. It was the semifinal of this. And they trounced Chivas USA's academy. So lovely to see that even at a young level, the Galaxy are handing it to them. But you want to talk about the future here, Tabs. What are some players or prospects? I know you touched on Harvard Miller and some of them, but like, what are some underrated names, if you know any of these U19 players that could end up making a huge impact for the Galaxy going forward?
Obviously, you got the likes of Dylan Vanny, who I mentioned, where he's been just popping off, especially this season for VCFC. He's got a couple goals. He's been playing that 10 position kind of in behind the 9. And then I think another one that's kind of been going under the radar is Gabi,
Yeah.
Gabriel Arnold. He's an 8, kind of a 6 as well. He's a box to box, and he's a smaller guy, but I mean he makes up for it with his technical ability, and that's someone to keep an eye out for as well.
Yeah. We got Pepe Mangana. I butcher that name every time. We got Pepe shouts. We're just gonna call him Pepe. If he's a center back, you call him Pepe. I think he will be a baller. I think he will end up breaking into the main team. Owen Pratt is a very good name. He plays for the U.S. youth national teams. Owen Pratt is an absolute baller from what I've
That's
seen from
massive.
him.
He's
Yeah.
like 6'5" or something, or maybe not that tall, but he's up there.
That is a guy who can end up being our starting goalkeeper in a few years. But goalkeeper, as a young goalkeeper, you make a lot of mistakes, and there's certainly things that you have to learn from and develop from. But the fact that he's with the U.S. youth national team shows that even the U.S. Federation has a lot of trust in him. So that's certainly a name. I think it's a matter of time before he ends up getting promoted to the main team. But first of all, Brady Scott needs to dip probably after this season.
I think I want to speak on that actually, because you
Yeah.
see MLS teams around the league, they have their keepers promoted from their academies. You saw Matt Freeze with NYCFC, who's now on the US Men's National Team main team. Obviously, it wasn't a great showing this past weekend, but I mean, you see players get that bump up from the academy and into the main team. So obviously, you're going to have to start on the bench, and then when the chance comes, if they take it, I mean, it's there for them. The pathway and pipeline is there for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the Galaxy's Academy has a lot of potential to break into the MLS team. And I think in a season like this, I would almost like to see some of these, but you don't want to rush them. The key is you don't want to rush some of these guys and get them game time in a dead team where they're going to end up, we saw some of that in the year 2020. If we're looking at bad LA Galaxy teams and what we end up doing, but you saw some guys come through the ranks in Kai Koreniak. You saw Kai Koreniak come through the LA Galaxy. You saw Carlos Harvey. Carlos Harvey is now at Minnesota, but you don't want to rush some of these guys. You do not want to rush these guys. You want to make sure that they come when the time is right and when they're fully developed. That's why a guy like Gabriel Arnold, I don't know if it was you who made this point, Tab, but have you watched his physical side of the game? Because I've heard that he's kind of lacking a bit in that sense.
Yeah, he's not the biggest guy. He's kind of like me. I don't know if anyone's seen me before, but he's probably, I'd say 5'7", 150 pounds around that. So but he's like 17 years old as well, so he's got time to grow, and I think if he wants to take it to the next level, he's gonna have to bulk up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because some of these guys are so young that they're still developing, man. Like they're still developing into their body. Like they're still very much, when it comes to the physical side of the game, they need time. They need time to marinate. They need time to brew, and they need to get into the flow of things here. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of good names. I mean, you could probably look at every single position for the LA Galaxy and say that there's a good prospect. Even that Australian guy who's playing left back. I don't know, Tabs. I know you watch Ventura County more than I do. Who's the Australian left back again? I'm blanking on
Max
the name.
Middleby.
Max Middleby. Max Middleby. Max Middleby is one of those guys that I think will come up also with the left back spot and make a difference for the LA Galaxy. He was one of the best prospects coming out of Australia, and certainly has the potential to make a difference for the main team in the future, I think. And you look at a potential transfer of Julian Aude, that we will talk about later. And in fact, that's the perfect segue. Tabs, take it away.
Yeah, obviously Julian Aude has been rumored to go to Argentinos Juniors in the Argentine First Division. Um, their left back at the moment, Vega, is rumored to be leaving, and just coming out today from Tom Bogert, uh, it looks like Argentinos Juniors is going to be getting Portland's left back, Claudio Bravo, not the goalkeeper, but the left back, and so that kind of puts a halt on the Aude kind of hype, I guess you could say. So I think Argentinos Juniors is not going to be his landing spot. I think I can determine from today because Tom Bogert's pretty reliable source, as we know. So I think that Aude, he's definitely got some eyes on him, considering he's not getting the playing time. So it'd be interesting to see where he does go if he does go.
Yeah, Corner of the Galaxy talked about this a bit on their Twitter page, is the fact that Julian Aude for the LA Galaxy is somebody who is not getting minutes that he deserves. I think I'm a big believer in Julian Aude. I think that Julian Aude should be a starter for the LA Galaxy over John Nelson right now, and he's not. Julian Aude is not getting minutes over John Nelson, and in a season like this, why are we not going with Julian Aude? Why are we not going with Julian Aude when the results have not been going for the LA Galaxy? And it's not a knock on John Nelson. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I like John Nelson. He's a solid MLS left back. We've seen his potential. We've seen John Nelson's potential. Julian Aude is in a position where he is still very young. He still has a lot of room to grow and develop. And I think that once the time comes for Julian Aude, he will be ready to take over that starting position. But if not, he's a U22 player. You don't wait around on U22 players for this long. How long have we had Julian Aude? Like 3 years now, I believe. And he has not been the starting left back for the LA Galaxy consistently. You've seen Raheem Edwards start over him. You've seen John Nelson start over him. And that's continuing to this day. It's not a good look for him. It's not a good look. And I'm not sure if that's going to change. I'm not sure if that's going to ever change. And if, obviously, I think the rumor on Argentinos Juniors is dead. If they're signing Claudio Bravo and Tom Bogert says it, then it's dead. No discussion there. But I think there was a lot of interest, and Corner of the Galaxy also confirmed some of this interest from abroad. Maybe there's an interleague transfer to be made, because honestly, if I'm an MLS team looking at Julian Aude, I'm like, I want this guy for an interleague transfer. Like you've seen what he can do in MLS at times, and he has a lot of room to develop and grow. And yeah, I mean, I think the thing is right now is the fact that he's taking up a U22 spot. I think if that wasn't the case, it wouldn't be so significant for the LA Galaxy. If the Galaxy end up selling Julian Aude elsewhere, it's not going to be Argentinos Juniors. I do agree with the people in the chat. Nelson was necessary last year to win MLS Cup. He was steady. Julian Aude, I think pushed up a lot at times, left us a bit prone. He's still very young. But I think John Nelson was what we needed last year. Question for you, Tabs. If we do sell Julian Aude, do you see them using the U22 spot for another left back, or do you see the Galaxy going in a different position? And if so, where?
That's a great question. I don't think we go left back again. I think if we're selling Aude, I think that just solidifies Delson's future. And then we
Yeah.
got players like Riley Delgado coming up through the youth academy who can play that left back position. We've seen players in the right back position make um like take the spot of the left back. So I think if we sell Aude, I don't think that we spend a U22 on that position just because I mean those U22 slots, they're vital. I spoke about this last podcast as well. Like if you make these U22 positions correctly, like we did last season with Dejan Jovic and the players we had last season, if we can use that spot to our advantage, that's what wins us cups. So I don't think spending on the left back is gonna be as successful if we spend on another position. But if we're talking about another position, I can't think of a spot. I mean, maybe like a backup winger, because right now we have no one pushing Payne Peck, and we kind of see that drop off. So maybe a U22 winger would be nice. Obviously, I think at the start of the season we were linked with João Grimaldo, who's a U22
Yeah.
winger. I don't know if that was ever real or whatnot, but someone like that, someone like a winger, I feel like would be a good spot to put that U22 position in.
Yeah, I agree. I think another spot the Galaxy could look towards is a younger center back. That center back core has not been the same since Jalen Neal's gone, and a lot of people have fair criticisms on what Neal did last year. I can't lie; sometimes he got torched. Uh, and Amiro Garces was a revelation for the LA Galaxy, but we might need center back competition, and the best way to do that might just be through U22 spot, bringing somebody young, bring in a player with high potential. But that I feel like is such a hit or miss spot. I feel like center back at a young age can be hit or miss. Luckily, we hit on Amiro Garces. So, you know what? Okay, before I go on to this point, Aude to the Timbers is a very interesting one to watch. I feel like they just lost Claudio Bravo. You know, you want a new Argentinian left back? The Galaxy have a new Argentinian left back to dish out. And we'd be able to convert some of the transfer fee to general allocation money, which is something the Galaxy are lacking on right now. But you are right. Ant's right in the chat. We do need a younger center back, but we had Jalen Neal. You know, it's like, you want a good U22 center back? I know a guy. He plays for Montreal. But it's fine. We're gonna have to move on from Jalen Neal. The thing I wanted to bring up here is, do you think the Galaxy's some of the Galaxy's transfers this window were not the best? Let's be honest. In the winter window, we haven't hit on every single transfer like we did last year. Do you think some of that drop off is because we lost I think it was Mikey Steffens to Chicago?
Yeah, Michael Stevens,
Michael Stevens.
what was he? What position? He was technical director, right?
Yeah, technical director.
And then we got the guy at Burton Zonka, I'm pretty sure, to replace him.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, because I mean, I think he was in charge of the scouting as well, if I'm not mistaken. So that could be what went wrong. I mean, we'll have to see. I think, however, we did hit on Sanabria. We did hit on Garces, but Garces was Steven signing. So yeah, I mean, it's just time will tell on that situation. But that's a great point I never even thought of.
I'm not convinced on Sanabria yet. I'm not fully yeah, I got my Chelsea kid today. Yeah, you had yours last podcast after that.
Oh, yeah, you got that Burlington, no?
This was from Ross. In Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas.
I think his Will in the chat was saying he's like the jacket. I got this from my local outlet store for $40, half off.
Really?
Yeah. So keep an eye. If you have an idea to start your local outlet, check it out. I mean, they had Galaxy jerseys all 50% off there.
Just to be clear, I'm not a Chelsea fan, guys. The Chelsea kid, but bro's a Liverpool fan. I can wear other kids.
Utter nonsense.
I have a Manchester City kit. You know. Yeah.
I don't got any Madrid kits.
I don't have a Madrid kit either. You don't see me getting Madrid. I would not get a United kit. I would not get even a retro United. I would not get. There is lines. There is lines, but Chelsea. Come on. Okay, I'm not ever way. No. The Chelsea kit is fine because Chelsea have some like this was $40. Come on, man. Like I had to come. It's too good. I would not. Um,
I'm a
but
sucker for those badges, the shiny badges or whatever. I don't know what you call them.
yeah.
I
No,
like
I'm
that
not pulling with the STSC kit. Liverpool and Chelsea are not direct rivals. I know Gerard had. I
Someone
know.
photoshopped me with a Stadium kit on. Can we Photoshop this guy with a Man United kit on or something? I just might have one in his closet or something.
Bro, about to flex the Levas kit with Saldana. No, we don't go to games for other people. We do not go to games for we don't go to LAFC games for other people.
I say that about other people, though, other pages.
Yeah, no, it's not a universal thing, but yeah, come on, give me a break, man. It's the Chelsea. It's a nice Chelsea kit. Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on. This is not. This is ridiculous. Diego Fagundes news. Diego Fagundes is back. He's available for tomorrow. In what capacity? I would not expect him to start. He is coming off of some broken bones in his foot.
Partially fractured, I think.
Yeah, partially fractured. He's coming off some partially fractured bones in his foot. He is back. He's ready. He's ready to go for tomorrow. I would not expect him to start. Would you expect him to start?
No, I think we run it back with the midfield that got us our first win. We have Cerrillo back, so I think it's Cerrillo, Sanabria, and then Marco Royce.
Yeah. I don't think he starts yet. I don't think he starts. I think we will go into lineups here, but I think he will come off the bench in this match. You can ease him into it. You can ease him into this. I think it's okay to ease Diego Fagundes into the squad, into the main team right now. You got time. There's no need to rush him back and risk injuring it even worse. Somebody else steps on his foot and that's it. You'll be without Diego Fagundes for a few months. But I'm glad he's back. Diego Fagundes, how would you assess him through the midseason point tab?
Yeah, I mean, I saw someone was putting out rankings for all the players and stuff. I mean, I don't think that you can give anyone higher than a C apart from Marco Royce and maybe Gabriel Peck sneaks into a B minus. I think if we're being realistic and we're strict graders here, I think we give him a C. I'll give Diego Fagundes a C. He's got the dog in him. He's got passion. He's playing for the badge, but unfortunately, that quality just isn't living up to what he's producing.
Do you want to do mid-season grades now? Are we down to do
that?
something?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's start.
Let me write down. I'll pull out a little notebook for you guys.
Yep, there we go. We got. This is how professional we are. Everyone, just stand here and look how we got a notebook. Look at us.
Ooh.
All right, let's start with in net. We'll start with John McCarthy, who's now the backup for the LA Galaxy. How would you assess him so far, grade wise? We can alternate. Go ahead.
Okay, let me write down. This is a test of my reading ability.
Okay.
Or writing
Reading ability.
Writing ability.
Okay.
Oh, it's backwards. It's backwards.
D minus.
D minus.
Okay. I would give John McCarthy a flat D. Oh.
What?
Let me rephrase that. I do not think John McCarthy has been good this year. I think John.
You want to give him a D?
Go ahead.
I think a D's a fair rating for you considering what you do. I think D range definitely.
That's why they call him J Mac Daddy. Yeah, I think he's all right. I think he's been all right. He's made some mistakes like the Orlando game. He single-headed. Oh gosh, make things work. Make things worse. We got Galaxy memes about to join us here. John McCarthy, I think, has cost us games at times. If you were thinking that this is getting chaotic, it's about to get a whole lot worse. I don't know. You know, if you're here, speak to us. Let's summon them. Galaxy memes. Are you looking at, bro? So dapper.
What's up, everybody?
Memes, I got a question for you. Peyton just said a comment. I'm not sure if you heard it. He wanted to give John McCarthy a D. I don't know what you think about that. If you want to drop some wise words of wisdom.
Give John McCarthy a D?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all in to give John McCarthy a D.
What? Okay, bro. All right. You know what? If Tabbers is in, let's
D minus for me. D minus. No
okay.
D for me.
All right. No D for Tabbers. As for memes and myself are both giving him a D. Moving on here. Novak Mitrovic.
D.
D? Summon him. Come on, we gotta wave him down. We gotta wave him down, guys. I'm giving Novak Mitrovic a C plus. I think he's come around. If you asked me before, I would have probably said C minus. I think he's been very good in the past few games. For the past few games for the LA Galaxy, he saved us a lot of goals. You look at that St. Louis game very early on. St. Louis could have got on the scoreboard like 10 minutes in, and Novak Mitrovic comes up with a huge save. He's been very good on one-on-ones. So yeah, we'll give him we'll give him B minus for Novak Mitrovic right now. So Tabs.
I think for a B, he'd have to be starting every game of the season.
Yeah.
Concerning his drop in form at the start of the season, I'm gonna give him a C, a flat C.
Flat C.
A flat C. No flat D's, but a flat C. I think because for a grade, you have to. It's throughout the whole year. You can't just like do good for part of the semester. You gotta do good for the whole semester. So I think a C is valid.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I think Novak Mitrovic is slowly starting to come around to be the guy. You know, Greg Vanny talked about it. Novak Mitrovic is now starting to become the guy that the LA Galaxy wanted him to be all this time. Okay. We got Julian Aude. Ant says he's giving him a fat D. But Tabs, do you want to start?
Aude, I mean, bro, I think he started 7 games, I remember correctly, and made substitute appearances in 13. My brain recalls correctly from the post I made. I'll give him a C minus. Obviously, he got the goal against Herediano, but apart from that, he hasn't shown enough. He hasn't played enough to get higher than that, I feel like.
It's difficult to assess Julian Aude when I feel like he hasn't been given the right opportunity. You know, we're going to be critical on him, and, you know, we wouldn't know otherwise. But unfortunately, I'm going to give him we're going to stick with the D's, a D plus. If that, I don't even know, because I don't think that grade in like a grade book that exists. But yeah, I think it's our own. We make the rules. It's our podcast. D plus for Julian Aude. I think he should start a lot more games for the LA Galaxy, but he's not. And right now, we're just going to have to accept the fact that he's not the starter and he might be on his way out. His counterpart, John Nelson. What would you give John Nelson?
Let's see. I'll give him C.
Just a big C.
Yeah.
Giving him a big C. Okay.
Big C. I think since Aude is getting a C minus, Nelson deserves a better grade than him.
Yeah.
And no, I'll bump up to a C plus. I'll give him like a 76% to be exact.
I'm gonna give him a C. I'm gonna give him a C flat, flat C. I think that John Nelson hasn't been anything particularly special for the LA Galaxy. I think he's done his job at times, but I think I've seen enough of John Nelson right now. Like, in the state the LA Galaxy are in, I would absolutely, he does look like a very he looks like a regen on EAFC. But John Nelson, he hasn't particularly cost us anything. But you know, I think he has been solid. He's just been okay. He's the definition of a 7 out of 10 player. You know what you're gonna get from John Nelson every game. Moving on. Memes, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what would you give Julian Aude and John Nelson?
Julian Aude, I'll probably give him a C minus just for the same reasons that Tab said. We haven't seen too much of him. John Nelson, I'll give a C flat just because he's been like above average, or he's just been average actually. The only thing I'm really critical to him about is that he plays back a lot. I noticed that during the St. Louis game, he has to pass down the line, and he like just turns. If it's not on his left foot, he'll turn and play back. So that's my only critique of him.
Yeah. And Joe Cool is right in the chat. Nelson's the only defender that hasn't really cost us a game yet, which is a lot to say in this back line. So that's a good point. And Eli in the chat. Yeah, John Nelson's on the team-friendly contract. I don't think anyone here is advocating to get rid of John Nelson. I'm completely fine with keeping John Nelson. My old thing is Julian Aude, I think, should be the starter right now with how this season's going. Same deal as Novak Mitrovic. Figure out if he's the guy or not. And if he's not, you move on. And if he is, then great. You got your guy for 2026. But he needs playing time. And you're only going to figure that out with real playing time. That's how we did with Novak Mitrovic. Are right now. We're still in the process. But moving on, let's start with the absolute just a horrible Zonka. Just no further introduction. Zonka, I'll start F minus. Get out of my club. You're terrible.
I think I'll give him a D plus. I don't think he's passing, but he sold RSL. He's made some other mistakes, but I think unfortunately he is our second best center back at the moment. So yeah.
D plus.
I would give him the grade lower, but I don't want to say that out loud. What you said earlier.
I'll
give him a D grade. A D grade. There we go.
Okay.
I found out how to not make it like that.
No, yeah. Okay. Memes.
I'll give him an F. He's just horrible. He has like 2018 Galaxy like all written over him. So yeah, get him out.
Eli's right. He deserves a Z. I'm not liking what I've seen from him. I think the Galaxy need to do everything in our ability to get rid of him after this season. I think he's been absolutely atrocious. Expectations weren't even that high. All he had to do was be better than Martin Cáceres in 2024, who was not on the field. That's all he had to do. And he's been worse than Cáceres, who is not on the field. So, yeah, let's give Zonka a Z, as Eli says. And we will move on now to Mai Yoshida, captain. Go ahead. Memes, you want to start?
Can you repeat that?
Mai Yoshida grade.
Damn, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with the C minus. I'm going to go with the C minus. Yeah, C minus.
Tab.
I'll give him a C.
I'm going back to my flat Ds. If anyone deserves a flat D, it's Yoshida, because this has been bad. This has been so bad. I've never seen a drop off like this, and we expect. You know what? I take that back. We have seen a drop off like this. Miki Amane, you are Saudi bound. I've seen enough from him this season.
Al Shabab,
Al whatever, Al Edifac. You could go play under Steven Gerrard. No, he got sacked. How do you get sacked from Al Edifac? Anyway, Yoshida is terrible. He's been terrible this year. I got to be rightfully critical. I thought he was great last year. He played all of the minutes. He had an excellent year. But the drop-off has been immense, and it's been extremely noticeable. Every time he's on the back line, he's a liability. And honestly, I'm not sure why Mai Yoshida is such a pendant starter. I think if you bring in a U22 center back, you need to make sure that Mai Yoshida is not starting. If you want to start winning some games, you need competition in there. So, yeah, I'm going to go next with Amiro Garces. Memes.
Oh, damn.
Wonderful. Love that. You got a grade? Okay. Galaxy runs LA.
I'll give Garces. I'll give him a D minus. I mean, I think if he's on his game, he's our best center back, but unfortunately, he's not been on his game. So he's cost us many points already. Really just silly mistakes that shouldn't be happening at the pro level. I mean, I think I don't know how I kicked that ball backwards. I think I hit that ball correctly and boot that out. So he sells us points, and I think that I give him a D minus because of that.
If we are giving, yeah, okay. For me, if I'm giving my Yoshida a D, I'm giving Garces a D plus. I know he's made major mistakes in some of these games that have absolutely he's boneheaded. He's a center back who can play great through 89 minutes and then make a dumb mistake and it ruins his whole game. I think as a defender, he's not terrible. I don't think, and in fact, the fact that Emiro Garces is still in Greg Vandy's doghouse is a bit surprising to me because I think he needs to make an impact for the LA Galaxy in these games. He's still young. He's going to make mistakes. We got lucky. We got extremely lucky that we weren't seeing this side of Amir Garces, which we probably should have seen last year. It took him a while to get into the team, and he played outstanding. One of the best center backs in MLS towards the end of last season. Probably 10 to 15 games, he was the best, or one of. That being said, his mistakes have absolutely screwed him over. I can count probably 3 games exactly that Amir Garces has been like, hey, I'm going to throw all these points out the window right now. I know we're in a good position, but I don't care anymore. I'm just going to throw all these out. And it's not, it is his fault, but it's not like he's purposely doing it. But, D plus. I think he definitely doesn't deserve a passing grade right now. And as most of our team doesn't, I think a lot of people are too nice on some of these guys when it comes to mid-season grades. But everyone has their own opinion. Miki Amane.
I think he's destined for Auckland City.
Yeah.
I think that meme's the same. Right. I mean, last season he was so good. I don't understand why he's having a drop off. I mean, it is tough because some games you can see his like former self. You've seen him come up with a couple assists this season, but like besides that, I mean, his defense, he's very liable. You've seen Anthony skill him up. You've seen was it Celio Pompeu from St. Louis was skilling him up. When he comes up against those skillful wingers, he struggles. It's that one-on-one defending. So maybe it just wasn't brought to our attention because kind of everyone's kind of just blindsided because we're doing so good. And now that we're doing bad, we kind of see everything in a negative manner. But I think this season, I got to give him a D grade.
Beans.
I also got to give him a D grade on this one. He went from being probably the best right back in the league to, bottom like 7, I'm not too sure why the drop off has happened. It could be because the rest of the team isn't performing. Not too sure, but it's been weird seeing him perform highly at Coachella to seeing him perform at this level. So that's why I got to give him a D grade.
F. This is my second F grade for that. It's not an F minus, but it is an F. I think nothing can be a Zonka ball, but I think Miki Amane has been absolutely atrocious. And in fact, the fact he is starting for the LA Galaxy right now is surprising me when you have the next guy we're going to talk about, Mauricio Cuevas. I know he hasn't played a lot of games, but out of the games he's played, what would you give him?
I think I can give him the same grade as Imane. I mean, maybe that's a little lenient. Maybe he's a good student to me or something. But I think that, in the games he's shown, he's proven himself that I think he can play at this level, and he is this level at play. So I think if we're being strict here, D minus just because he hasn't played the games, but I think he's got potential, and I think that he should be playing more.
Yeah. Memes.
I'm gonna go with the C minus on this one, just because he was injured at the beginning of the season, and he hasn't been able to play as many games as the other players, and he still made a good impact while he's on the field. He hasn't been, amazing, but he's been average, and he's helped at times where we needed him to help, and he's stepped up. So I got to give him a C- for that.
I'm going to give him, if I gave Aude a D plus, I'm going to also give Mauricio Cuevas a D plus. I think both of them are in the same category of players who should be starting for the LA Galaxy right now. It's both of the fullback spots, and they're not. And based off of that logic, if they're not playing, we haven't seen a full 90-minute performance really from either one of them, but in flashes, we've seen what they have to provide. I think Cuevas's crossing ability is elite. I love what he does going forward for the LA Galaxy, but I can't give him a passing grade because I don't think he's played enough minutes, but he should. And he, like Joe Cool says, he is always impressive when he's playing. We'll move on to Lucas Sanabria.
I think the start of the season obviously wasn't what we expected, and he's kind of doing better. So he started off with an F, but now he got some good grades on a test. So I think he moves up to a D grade.
Yeah. Memes.
I'm gonna go with a D plus on this one, just because it takes time to adjust when you're leaving your country at such a young age to play at I want to say MLS. Recently he has been improving though. I do see he's been a lot more around on the field. He's been contributing more to the game. So I'm gonna go with the D plus still.
I'm gonna give him another flat D. We're dishing out flat Ds tonight. I think that he has not shown to be the guy in the midfield yet. You brought him in from Nacional for $5 million. He needs to be that guy. Right now, he's just all right. I mean, the way he started was terrible. If you asked me this a couple months ago, I'd have been like F minus. Been an awful signing. He's came around a little bit. I'm not convinced, though. I think he has a lot of proving to do to show that he's worth the money the Galaxy invested in him, and I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen it. To be fair, we brought him in as an 8 when he's a 6. He is not. Edwin Cerrillo's our 6. We already had a 6, and we brought in an 8. Lucas Sanabria is a natural. He's a natural 6, but the Galaxy were like, we need somebody to play box to box. We lost Mark Delgado, and he's not really that role. He's not really that role for the LA Galaxy. So I think it's been an adjustment period learning to play the 8, but I think he's started to come around, and his goal against Real Salt Lake was nice to see. And I think this one will go up. I still think Sanabria, maybe I'm delusional. I still think he'll pan out for the LA Galaxy as a good signing. But right now, if I had to say if that was a good or bad signing, if I had to pick one or another, I'd lean towards bad with the money we invested. But I think it will end up being good. Next, Isaiah Parente.
I say he wasn't supposed to get a good grade in this course, I believe, but I think he's proved himself. And I think that if I'm giving Sanabria, I gave him a D, so I'm gonna give Parente a D as well.
Memes.
I'm gonna give him a C just because he's been a surprising player that's stood out this year, and he's been pretty good. The games he started, and he's not been like the best player on the field by all means, but he has been a little bit above average, and he has stepped up this year, which is what the Galaxy needed. So I'll give him a C for that.
I will give him a C minus. I think he's barely passing because of the minutes that he's gotten, but when we needed him most, the LA Galaxy, when we needed to rely on Isaiah Parente, he's came through every time. I think he's put in solid performances. I think he's held it down, and I think he's been better than Lucas Sanabria in the minutes that he's gotten. At least so far, I think he's been more consistent than Lucas, and I think Isaiah Parente is a guy that if I'm an MLS general manager, I am calling up the LA Galaxy and saying, hey, I want this guy. I want this guy as, at least a rotational piece in a midfield somewhere. It's a team-friendly contract, and you're able to get him some more minutes than the Galaxy can give him right now. I like Isaiah Parente a lot, and I wouldn't mind keeping him in the long term if we could. So I'm impressed with what I've seen. But like you said, I didn't expect this from them. So Edwin Cerrillo.
I think I can give him a C minus. I think his play has been underwhelming at times, but think that's just a learning curve playing without Ricky. He's got to do more, and he's kind of having to evolve in a sense for that sixth position. So I think a C minus just because he has been doing good, but I don't think he is doing all that he needs to do. So I think he's good enough to pass, but not enough to be succeeding in my class.
I'll say the same grade. Memes.
Yeah, I also say the same grade.
Okay. All right. And then next up for the LA Galaxy right now, we have Marco Royce, Eli Lesser's favorite. So Marco Royce, Tab.
I think he gets my only A in the class. I'll give him an A minus. I think just in the time he's been playing, he's been our creative outlet. He's been our goal scorer, unfortunately, because we have no other players that can score goals right now, it seems like. So he's scoring goals, he's creating chances, he's assisting plays. So I'll give him an A minus.
Memes.
I'll go with the B plus on this one.
I'm gonna go with a B plus as well. I think Marco Royce has been exceptional for the LA Galaxy. Nobody deserves an all-star position, but if somebody did, it'd be Marco Royce at the all-star game. I know Galaxy runs LA. You're talking about the all-star kits being released in that game upcoming. Do not vote LA Galaxy players for all-star game. The last thing this team needs is more travel right now on some of our legs, and we're not going to get it anyway. But B plus, I think, is the right grade for Marco Royce and the impact he's had. But I'm looking at it over the course of a full season as well. And I think it's fair to say that Marco Royce started off a bit slow. So if I'm giving a player an A, it's going to be a Ricky Pooch, like he was last year. It's going to be somebody like Ricky. It's going to be someone like Peck last year. But you know, I think Marco Royce definitely, and that is a good shout. That Royce might be there just for name recognition from like a commissioner's pick. Could definitely be a scenario. But Marco Royce playing an extra game with extra travel sounds like an absolute nightmare. Out of all the players. So we will move on now to. We'll go Diego Fagundes.
Did we do him already? Or am I tripping?
No, we haven't done him. I don't think.
Okay, I'm gonna give Fagundes. I'll give him a C. I think that he's been doing all right. He's doing just enough to pass a class. I don't think he's been doing anything exceptional, but he's definitely. You see the effort he's putting into the class. So I think I'll give him a C.
Memes.
I'll give him a C minus.
I'm going to give him a D plus. I think he's come around recently for the LA Galaxy. He's scored some goals, but I'm not forgetting the first 13 games he had to the season was absolutely atrocious. Diego Fagundes isn't a guy on a cheap salary. If Diego Fagundes wasn't making as much as he was, maybe I'd be like, he's been all right. But this is a guy who said he was going to be an all-star, and he's been nowhere close to it. And he's coming around a little bit, but to give him passing grade, I'm not there yet. Maybe he will by the end of the season, but right now, I think Diego Fagundes is just below the threshold at a D plus for me. We will move on now to Joseph Paintsil. This should be interesting after the St. Louis game.
I think a D plus. I think since he's not been there for a whole ton of time, can't get high grade, and when he is there, he's not doing good. So when he does show up in my class, he's not doing good, and when he doesn't show up, he's also not doing good. So I'll give him a D plus.
Memes.
I'm gonna go with the C minus again on this one.
I'm gonna go with a D minus. If you're a designated player for the LA Galaxy, I expect you to have more than one goal at this point in the season. If you were any other player on a normal contract, maybe making $600K, I'd be like, he's all right. Maybe a C, maybe a C minus. Absolutely no. Joseph Paintsil, you are a designated player. D minus, I think, is the correct grade from him because he hasn't shown up. He's been selfish at times. He's cost the Galaxy games. And I will say that, Joseph Paintsil, I think, gets frustrated a lot because he gets fouled a lot, and the referees tend to ignore it when it's Joseph Paintsil. But yeah, he is allergic to scoring and contributing. I like Joseph Paintsil a lot, though. I'd love to see him turn it around. He's one of my favorite players, if not my favorite. For the LA Galaxy. So I'd love to see him turn it around. if we're being honest, he hasn't been up to the DP standard or close to it. If we were looking at a guy like Douglas Costa putting up like Kevin Cabral, if we were looking at, it's Colorado week, if we were looking at Kevin Cabral and he had 1 goal through 18 games for the LA Galaxy, or I know he's injured, whatever, 1 goal through let me get the exact amount of games that Joseph Paintsil's played here. But he hasn't been good, and he has 1 goal. He's had 11 matches and has 1 goal. And if we were looking at a guy like Kevin Cabral, everyone would be saying F-. And if we're being honest, I like Paintsil's speed. I like what he has to offer, but I'm not. He D-. Peck.
I'll give him a C+. He's also getting a spank with my ruler, just because he needs to be doing better. But a C+.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Names?
I'm gonna go with the B- on this one.
Okay. Peck. He's only really had 1 significant game, and that was last game. And I'm not gonna say that Gabriel Peck has been doing good over the course of the season. I'm going to give Gabriel Peck, maybe I'm being harsh, but I'm going to give him a D+. I think when it comes down to it for the LA Galaxy, when you're without Ricky Puig, you need your designated players to step up. I think he's been largely ineffective. I think he's been better than Paintsil, but I think the standard's so low. He's had 1 good game. I'm not ready to pass him yet. I'm not ready to say that Gabriel Peck gets a passing season because I don't think he's been good at all as a designated player. His shots go straight to the goalkeeper. Last year, he at least had the accuracy and the placement on those. This year, he's completely lost it. So, yeah, I'm not very impressed with what he's done. So I think D+ is the right grade. Christian Ramirez.
Give him a C-. I think he's done enough to pass the class, but not enough to be doing good. He had a pretty bright start to the class, but he's kind of not been showing up anymore. So, well, that's kind of to the rise of Nascimento. But even when he came off the bench in St. Louis, it was pretty sad. He seemed very lethargic. So I don't know if that's just him not coming off the bench very often because he's not fit or whatnot. But I think if he wants to be at this club, I think he needs to step up his game a little bit more.
Right. Memes.
I'm gonna go with a C-. He lost the spot to Nasty Nas. He started out pretty, good for the club. He was the leading goal scorer for, what was it, like 5? Like, we had 5 goals, I'm pretty sure, 5 or 7.
Ramirez.
Yeah.
He's on 4 right now, I think.
Yeah, I think he's
4.
on.
Oh
Yeah.
And
god.
MLS. MLS. He might have scored some in CONCACAF. I don't remember.
Christian Ramirez officially has 1 goal or 1 goal in CONCACAF, 4 in MLS, 5 goals total.
Yeah, I'll stick with the C- then.
I'm gonna go D+. I think his recent performances for the LA Galaxy don't constitute him passing the class right now. And like a class, you could start off good, but if you're not doing well by the midterms, then it's not looking good for you, bruv. So I think he's in some trouble, and I think he's in Vanny's doghouse right now. So I think D+ is the right grade for Ramirez, and I would expect this one to also just decrease as time goes because I don't think he's going to get minutes. And we're gonna quickly Miguel Berry. Tab.
I think just out of his playing time, I can't give him anything. He's not showing up to my class, so he's getting that.
Names.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no grade. I can't really judge him. He doesn't play that much. So
Yeah.
no grade.
He's getting dropped out of my class.
I'm gonna give him an A+.
Oh,
I think Miguel Berry should be in the
he's
MVP.
showing up after class or what?
Yeah.
He's showing up after class. He wrote a note on his test. See me after class.
Don't ask why. It is what it is. It's an A+ for Miguel Berry. And then we're gonna go into Nasty Nas.
I think just because he's been showing up recently doesn't mean he should be passing the class, but he's on the right track. He's doing good, so I'll give him a D+.
Memes.
I'm gonna go with the C on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the C minus. I think that Nasty Nas is finally being the man that the LA Galaxy wanted him to be. And if I'm getting Ramirez a D plus, I think I'll give him a D plus as well. I'll give him a D plus as well, but I think him and Ramirez on the opposite ends of the spectrum, where I think Ramirez is trending down and I think Nasty Nas is trending up for the LA Galaxy. So I'd expect those grades to change drastically by the end of the season. So yeah, no ace. You have one win. You have one win for the LA Galaxy. I think I've given like 2 passes. Like I think we've given like 2 passes in the C range, and then Royce is the only player even reaches B for me at a B plus. But nobody deserves an A in a 1-win team, in my opinion. So we will go on to the next thing. I think we've covered the grades very drastically and extensively here. LA Galaxy versus the Colorado Rapids. No, Riqui Puig. Pump fake. Riqui Puig, everyone. Riqui Puig. Galaxy runs LA. Do you want to talk about a Riqui Puig update?
Yeah, so it was reported by Greg Vanny that Ricky's going to start doing some field work in the coming weeks. So that's something to keep an eye out for. I'm sure the first day is back. Galaxy will definitely be posting them on the ball. Very exciting. Still don't think he's coming back anytime soon, if at all. So we'll have to see. Hopefully, I mean, I think this is faster than we expected for him to get back like to training, just like getting work on the ball. So that's a positive sign, but I don't think it's anything to write home about at the moment.
Memes?
He said not to look at the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think Riqui Puig being back is going to be, if we're grading JP Music, that's the only A we'll give is JP Music. But his managers, he would definitely give him a flat D. So I think Riqui Puig being back is great. And back on the practice field, of course. It's going to be a few weeks for him, but it's going to be so worth it. Now, when all of us content creators come together and post Riqui Puig back in training, I want all of you to know that he is still going to be months away. Him being back on the field doing individual things he has so far to come. He has so far to come from the time he gets on the field. Like, if he gets on the field, he's not going to be back like within a week or two. He has to relearn the whole game. He has to relearn the whole game right now. So I think Riqui Puig. I think Riqui Puig being back is a huge positive. It's a huge bonus, and I'm glad we finally got something. So, memes, are you back now?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Thoughts on Riqui Puig being back and his impact?
I think it's a good sign to see him doing field work now. It's a step in the right direction. That means there hasn't been any setbacks, and hopefully there won't be any setbacks. Did it mention if he's going to be just like training by himself, or is he going to be like involved with team?
Probably
stuff,
by
like,
himself. Probably by himself.
Well, regardless, it's good to see him be on the field. It's a good step forward for him and the team to have him back. We know how important he is to the team, even in the locker room with his morale. So it's a good sign.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Riqui Puig being back only makes the LA Galaxy so much better. I don't think this season happens at all. Hold on, okay, my camera's just not going to fix if it's blurry. Apologies. It will come back to focus very soon. But yeah, Riqui Puig and his impact. Hypothetical question for you all. If Riqui Puig was playing this season, where would the Galaxy be?
I think we're in contention for a supporter shield, not going to lie.
Really? You think it's that drastically?
Yeah.
Okay. Names?
I say we're second in the West.
I think the LA Galaxy are third place in the Western Conference if Riqui Puig is there, only because of the amount of turnover we've had with his good friend Dejan Joveljic leaving, as well as his good friend Gaston Brugman leaving. Mark Delgado being the engine of the midfield that he was. I think that would drastically affect Riqui Puig. But I still think the Galaxy would have been obviously significantly better. But I I don't know. I think the problems this season have run a little more than Ricky Pooch for me, but I definitely see that next year I think we could be back into contention that easily just by having them and having some cap space. But we were constrained anyway from start to finish. Is my camera ever going to come back to focus here? Okay, we good? No. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I mean Ricky Pooch. I asked this question on Instagram, and I've gotten a lot of mixed responses, and I wanted to see where you guys kind of were on bringing Ricky Pooch back at all this season, because some people were saying don't bring him back at all this year.
I think you have to. I mean, this is kind of his trial run. He's gonna have to kind of relearn some things. It's gonna be really interesting for his first game back, whether like when he falls down, see like what happens if he's gonna fall down, he's gonna be in a ton of pain, or he's gonna be found and get back up. I think he's got that war spirit in him, so I think he's gonna get back up. It's just gonna be an interesting thing to follow him, and just I think we use this season as like a little travel run for him. I think he needs these minutes because when it comes to next season, we're go because we're gonna have a good squad, we're gonna have a ton of cap space. It's gonna be our season to lose. It's in our hands to do good. So I think we need Ricky to be 100%, and to get 100%, we have to build him up through the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Names?
Yeah, I also think we should bring him back this season. You know, to an extent though. I think he should be coming off the bench. The games he is back, you know, we don't have what's that shit called? A timeline. Sorry, I blank. We don't have a timeline of when he's coming back or how many games he's gonna be available for. So I think for the games that he is available, we should just put him off the bench. You know, maybe start him like the last game of the season if he's back by then. Give him a half, you know, at most, just because he's coming off a big injury. You just gotta let him rest and get a feel for the game and try to avoid like any setbacks, like I said.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to rush him, and you have no incentive to rush Ricky Pooch back onto the field. When he does come off of the bench for his first game, I'd expect that to be like 10 to 15 minutes, if anything, just to get him back. The last thing you want is your franchise player getting re-injured by him coming back too soon in a season that's meaningless. So bring him back if he gives us a chance of making the playoffs. By the time he is back, I would expect that we are out of the playoffs by the time he makes his return to the field, which I would say is September. If I think the goal for the LA Galaxy staff right now is to get him back for the Campeones Cup. I think if we get him back starting for the Campeones Cup final, you want to end this season with some silverware, regardless of how Mickey Mouse it may be. So, Ricky Pooch, we will keep you updated the more updates we get. But right now he is expected to return to the field in a few weeks, probably somewhere in July. So I would say September is when you'd see him back on the field. Julian Aude went over that. Kevin Cabral, Colorado Rapids. We make a trip up to Colorado tomorrow at 6:30 is the kickoff of this match. Kevin Cabral revenge game potentially. We got I've seen some people say we got two Kevin Cabrals on the screen because of their performances. Don't disrespect Kevin Cabral like that. This is going to be an interesting match because Colorado Rapids are a team that I believe is hovering around the playoff line, and if you want to get back, playoffs are not happening, but if you want to start crawling back up the ladder, these are the teams you're going to have to beat. It's going to get worse as the season goes along schedule wise. And these are some of the matches like St. Louis. That's probably the lowest ranked team we're going to play all season. You wanted to win that match and we didn't beat them. So this is another one of those matches. Starting lineup wise, please tell me if you disagree in any of these positions. I think Novak Mitrovic will get the starting goal. John Nelson start at left back. I think Vanny will continue to ride Zonka and Yoshida as the center back duo. I think Miki Amane will be the right back. In the midfield, I think you will have Lucas Sanabria, Edwin Cerrillo, and Marco Royce, Joseph Paintsel and Gabriel Peck on the wings, and Matthias Nascimento up top. And the Rapids are insanely injured right now. So anyone disagree with those shouts?
I think you're spot on.
Memes?
Yep, spot on.
Yeah, as for the Colorado Rapids, they are going through a bit of an injury crisis right now, much like we've been facing. So welcome to the club. For the Colorado Rapids, they have Cole Bassett out, Ali Fadal out, Wayne Fredrickson out, Alex Harris, and Zach Steffen all out for this match. So they are very shorthanded. This game will not be in LA. It will be in Colorado. Mountain time kickoff is 6:30. Make sure that you are ready for this match. I think the Galaxy have potential to at least get a point out of Colorado. If we win, what's the key? What's the key to this match? Galaxy runs LA.
I think we just have to have grit and we have to push through. Obviously, you're going to have the high altitude to play through. That's going to be a key factor in the game. So if we can figure that out and just get a result, because this is a 6-pointer. If we win this game, we get 3 points. They lose a possibility of 3 points. So it's going to just bring us closer. If we just can't lose this game, minimum we have to tie, because they're going to be in that playoff like 9th place position, kind of like what we need to be in. So they're going to be around that spot. So if we can beat them, we can prove a point that we should be in the playoffs and we have the capabilities to. So if we put up a good performance tomorrow, I don't see why people don't start getting scared of us down. They won't count us out.
Yeah. Mims, what's the key to this match?
I think for the key to this match is definitely it's a must-win game, to be honest. I think what we need to do as a team, I think we need to feed Peck more. Peck and Nascimento, I think we need to feed them the ball. Peck coming off a good game, but it's been, 2 weeks now for the break?
It's been a week and a half since we played the last match.
I think he's still going to be in form. I think, that game it flipped the switch on him for sure. It's given him the confidence to, be his old self from last season. So I think it's time to just keep feeding him the ball and let him do his magic. I think that's the key to this game. Just look out for Peck. I think he's going to have another good game.
I think the key to this match is coming off extremely strong with the pressing for the LA Galaxy. I want to see them play aggressive. We're not the home team. I want to see the Galaxy playing counterattacking football. I think that's some of the best we've seen from this team in spurts this year has been when we're in the transition. And being the away team, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to go forward. How did we beat Colorado last year? Things were a lot different last year, but it was on the counterattack, I felt like, especially when we went up to Colorado in the playoffs. We had a lot of good opportunities coming off the counterattack. I think that needs to maintain consistent for the LA Galaxy. They are injured. You need to take it to them. You need to get the lead, and you need to keep the foot on the gas. You need to keep the foot on the gas of the LA Galaxy and make sure that there's no drop off. You want to hit them with 1, 2, 3 goals in a blink of an eye and put them out of this game. Get your starters out and rest so you could have the Cali Clasico. There could be rotation in this game. There could absolutely be rotation in this game, but I would expect it against San Jose if it was any team, considering that we're coming off of a break as it is. But if they want to forward to the next match against San Jose and put our marbles into that, put our eggs into that basket, they can certainly do that. But I want to see the Galaxy press them very high. I want to see, the Colorado Rapids don't need a lot of chances. They're not going to have a lot of chances, but if they're clinical and they capitalize, we could find ourselves in a lot of trouble here. We need to capitalize on ours. I think our performances of the designated players and Gabriel Peck and Joseph Paintsel needs to step up. I think Nasty Nas needs to continue his great form. And there's a recipe to success here for the LA Galaxy, which I can't say for every single game, but there is a way that the Galaxy win this game. And to go into score predictions, I'll start here. I think the Galaxy come out of this match with a point. I think we come out with a scrappy 1-1 draw from the Colorado Rapids. I think, for the fun of it, I don't even think you'll start this match. Kevin Cabral gets a goal. But I think for the LA Galaxy, Nasty Nas will continue his scoring streak and prove that he deserves a permanent deal, which is something we can discuss in future episodes. But Galaxy runs LA. Score?
I'm gonna go 2-1 Galaxy. I think we'll get a Peck goal and a Nastinas goal, and then I think Jordy Mihailovic is gonna be inevitable, and he'll get a goal.
Yeah. Okay. Memes?
We'll go with the 1-0 Galaxy one.
All right. So none of us have the Galaxy losing. Take what, if you want to go to the sports books and bet opposite of us, that's probably the best advice we can give you, is to go ahead and bet the Rapids. I would assume that they're favorites in this match, though, being the home team. That's usually how it works. There's a formula here that the Galaxy win this match. I wouldn't be surprised if we win. Honestly, it can go all three ways, though. It's the most boring thing we could say in this scenario, but this match can literally go all three ways because the Galaxy have proved that they can lose a match very easily, as we've done all season. But the Rapids can also, be a little surprised, with shorthanded without certain key players. So I'm going with a 1-1 draw, as is Eli. In the chat, we got Drew with the 2-1 win. Zlatan to go with the 3-1 win. And Blessing Paintsill with the 7-0 win. Just trolling.
I think it's all 7 goals for Paintsill. He's getting a double hat trick and then another goal.
Is this Paintsill's burner? Samuel with the 3-1 Galaxy win, I believe that is. Going into the next match here, Galaxy travel up to San Jose to face the San Jose Earthquakes. I believe this match is at PayPal Park. Don't please correct me if I'm wrong. Stanford, of course. We're the only game that their fans show up for, apparently. The San Jose Earthquakes obviously got a win against the Galaxy that I don't think they quite frankly deserve to be getting all 3 points out of that match. We played good against them the first time. Now we go away, which is a much different thing because I think the way this game plays out is going to be a lot different than the first one. I would expect San Jose to be the team on the forefront rather than the LA Galaxy. I'd be very surprised if we're dominant in this match, but you don't need to be. You need to capitalize on the chances that you get. There are very few chances. We talked about Joseph Paintsill. This is a revenge game for you. This is to prove that you are not Al Hilal bound. Joseph Paintsill needs to show up for this match. He has the pace to get in behind the San Jose back line. He was torching some of the defenders on San Jose in the first matchup. He just never capitalized. So key to winning this match on the road at Stanford Stadium.
I think just taking our chances. We saw versus San Jose at our place. Paintsill probably had the chance to score the double hat trick that Blessing Paintsill kind of is talking about in the chat. So he has the capabilities. He has the chances. He's creating them, but his finishing has just been god awful, unfortunately. So we have the formula. We have what we need. It's just taking those chances and scoring them.
I 100% agree with you. Memes?
I'm going to say ball behind the defenders. I think we beat them with pace every single time. Paintsill is really deadly when he plays against San Jose. So is Peck. I think, with the addition of Nascimento at the 9, I think we will finish our chances. So whatever balls we play, we need to be behind the defenders where Paintsill can just torch them, and then that's just square to the penalty spot, and then we have Nascimento there to tap it in, and we find our chances.
Yeah, Galaxy runs LA. You talked about grit a lot in the match in Colorado, which is definitely applicable when you're going up to altitude. That certainly takes a toll on the lungs. I want grit in a different way. San Jose beat you, and they clowned you. They absolutely acted like they won the MLS Cup, as they always do when they beat the Galaxy at home at Dignity Health Sports Park, which joined the club. Everyone's beat us this year. But everyone in California besides Chivas USA apparently has beat us this year. But the Galaxy need to have that get under their skin in a way that motivates them. Joseph Paintsill needs to see this as a chance to make amends, make things right for the match that he sold against San Jose. You sold 3 points, so go out and get 3 points. Get a little even trade-off here. And I think this San Jose match is a winnable one as well. This is the easier part of our schedule for the LA Galaxy right now, because I don't think Colorado or San Jose are teams that I look at and I'm like, dang, like these are difficult. These are difficult to beat. Nah, like they're not that good. I don't think the West is good as it is. I'll say it until I'm in my grave. This is the worst Western Conference in history. Both of these teams are in play-in spots. If you want to climb into that picture, what would 6 points do for you? It'd get you up to 14 points, which doesn't sound spectacular. But if you take points off of these teams, the playoffs, you could start climbing back into a race. Not saying that we will make the playoffs, but if we go winless in these matches, you can if you already haven't dusted off the year, you can dust it off. And write it off, count it up. It's over. But I already think it is. But these are huge matches. The team needs to be up for them. We need to get in the locker room and revive the spirit of Cali Classico for one game against them. Right now, it needs to happen. And these teams, we need to play with grit. We need to play with anger, in a way that channels it by burying San Jose into the mud. Score predictions. I will start with Memes. We'll go in reverse order this time. Memes?
I'm going to go with the 2-0 win.
Okay. All right. We got 2 wins in a row from you guys. Well, not yet. Galaxy runs LA.
I'm going to go 1-1. I think we get tied.
Okay. I'm going to go with a 1-0 loss. I think the Galaxy are going to lose this match against San Jose. Back-to-back 1-0 losses would certainly hurt. I think Bruce Arena is definitely going to have a game plan for this going into it. The Galaxy may choose to rotate in this match, but I can't imagine you're going to do that when you're playing 2 play-in opponents. I think we're just going to thug it out. The LA Galaxy are going to need to show up to this game and score goals, and I don't think they will because we've struggled doing that at times this year. So I'm going to go with the 1-0 loss here. But we're going to have chances, I believe. I just think San Jose is going to grind out this result. Classic Bruce Arena ball. So we got Galaxy Memes saying we'll win 2 in a row. Galaxy runs LA saying we'll get 4 points. And myself, I think we'll get 1 point. Happy to be wrong, obviously, on both of these matches. I think tomorrow is more winnable than San Jose, in my opinion. I think tomorrow's a lot more straightforward. Players to watch. Who do you think is a low-key player to watch? Not just nasty Nas. What's a low-key player to watch for the Galaxy over these 2 games?
If we're talking, this season, I think Paintsel has been pretty low-key. So I think if we're going to do good, I think it's going to be through Paintsel. So he's the key to winning, especially this Quakes game. But I think he has to have a good performance against the Rapids as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Memes?
I'm going to go with Paintsel or Lucas Sanabria for my ones to watch.
Ones to watch for the LA Galaxy. For me, I was going to say Lucas Sanabria, but right now, I'm going to say Novak Mitrovic. I think Novak Mitrovic has been outstanding in recent games, and I think he deserves his flowers right now. He started out the season very rough, maybe was a scapegoat a bit at times, but didn't help out his own case, and was on a short leash given his antics last year, kind of trickled over and turned the fans against him, but he's proven to be that guy. He's going to need to come up big. Both of these matches, I think the Galaxy are not going to be the team on, creating the most amount of chance. Although I think Colorado we will. But point being, he's going to need to come up with big saves for the LA Galaxy. So we'll take a question or two from the chat now, whether it be San Jose, Colorado, Ricky Puig, Julian Aude, Diego Fagundes, anything we've discussed today or anything we've not discussed. And while we're on it here, congratulations to Chivas USA for going winless in the Club World Cup. Really gassed that one up to get the same amount of wins as we had in that tournament. So raise the banner. I'll be I'm sure certain Galaxy creators will be there to see that being raised at BMO Field. They qualified for Club World Cup. So send questions in the chat. I have a question for you guys. It's a hypothetical. Who do you guys think? Okay, no. I got a trade for you guys. The Galaxy qualify for the 2020. Let's say we win the 2029 Club World Cup, but we don't win an MLS Cup for another 15 years. Would you take that trade?
Win the Club World Cup?
Win the Club World Cup, but we don't win another MLS Cup for 15 years.
I think it's hard to tell. I mean, the Club World Cup it's the world, but I mean, like it doesn't have the pedigree. It doesn't seem like people care about that much if
Yeah.
people win it. So I think I'd rather just wait. What's the other one? So win the Club World Cup and then go winless. So I won't take that.
15 years. Would you take the trade offer?
No, I wouldn't.
Memes?
Yeah, I wouldn't take the trade offer either.
Okay. What about 10? What about 10? Another decade. We already went through a decade. Could you do it?
I can bear a decade. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say yeah, just because the cash prize.
Yeah. I think
That's
the
a good
cash
point. I didn't
prize
think
would
about that.
transcend Major League Soccer. So I would also take that. Who will be the U19 player brought up to the main team? Who do you think the next Galaxy player is to break into the main team?
Let's see. I think Dylan Vanny.
Okay. All right. Father-son duo. Memes?
Yeah, I'm also gonna say Dylan Vanny or Gabby Arnold.
All right. Yeah, okay. All right. I'm gonna also say Dylan Vanny. I think Dylan Vanny will end up getting a main team call up at a point very shortly here, probably within the next year. So, and as we discussed, I don't know if Gabby Arnold has the physical skill set it takes yet, but hey, I mean, he played in the preseason for the Galaxy, so maybe that shows he's a bit closer. Is there a chance that Riqui gets traded by next year?
Nope.
I don't think so.
No, I also don't think so. I think Riqui Puig will stay put in Los Angeles for another year unless he comes back like with 10 games. Well, not even with 10 games left. We're almost at that point. If he comes back with like 8 games left and scores like 15 goals or something ridiculous, and teams are like, all right, we still want to go through with these deals. So, all right. Any last questions from the chat? I'm not seeing any. Memes, where can they find you?
You can find me at LA Galaxy Memes on Instagram.
Galaxy Runs LA, where can they find you?
Galaxy Runs LA over on TikTok, Instagram, and X.
As for myself, I am LA Galaxy Central, and you could find me on TikTok at Florian Wirtz-Pong. No, I'm actually LA Galaxy Buzz, but the spirit of Central lives on. Thank you all for tuning into this podcast. The Galaxy, we will have a watch along for the San Jose match. We'll have a live watch along for, and hopefully you guys will be able to tune in for that one. Galaxy once again play tomorrow. San Jose Wednesday. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you on the live broadcast on Saturday. Good night, everyone.